This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast. Well, welcome everybody to No Fixed Agenda, presented by Bub's Naturals. Now that you've heard enough of Omar's
rant,
rant about
having kids. By the way, if we air this, I love you, son. I'm sorry. A little sleep deprived, okay?
Yeah. So we're doing a random thought today, and I usually like to be a little whimsical when it comes to my random thought mentality here. But
you got nailed. You got dialed in today for this one, bro.
But I was going through some ideas about some conversations that I guess kind of hit home a little bit, us being both business owners, right? Yeah. And we're leaving for Chicago here soon. You know, we've both been on vacations recently. You know, we're going on vacation plans next year.
Yeah.
And you kind of start to think about the work-life balance in a sense.
Is there a thing?
And there's this thing of work to live or live to work, right? And I thought it would be kind of interesting to have this conversation. I had sent this over to you last night or this morning when you finally got back to me. because of your being a mechanic last night. So
at 10 o'clock at night, yeah.
I thought it would be interesting to chat about that balance or the dynamic now that it's shifted, right? Like, and what that actually is. And if you're unfamiliar with it, I did pull it up because I wanted to make sure that the listener kind of had an idea of what we were talking about.
Live to work, work to live. What does that mean?
Right. So live to work or work to live, finding balance between ambition and enjoyment. Do we work so we can afford to live the life we want, or do we live so that we can work to achieve success, both professionally and personally?
Basically, what is the priority?
Right. What's the priority?
So is your priority living life, or your priority is to grow a business or to grow success?
Yeah. And I think it's interesting now with the way society is and the way Gen Z and what are they called? The new generation?
I have no clue.
Alpha? No.
Are they alphas? They cannot be alphas, bro.
I don't know.
They cannot be alphas.
Let's fact check that really quick.
Yeah, we're fact checking this right now.
But anyway, so it shifted. You know, the old school way of thinking of it, and I say old school, quote unquote. Gen X, baby boomers, our grandfathers and grandfathers before them was the live to work, want to find that success, want to find that that point where you're comfortable in your life as far as financial and stuff goes. And I think now it's shifted over to more of the work to live with the newer generations that are out there, the millennials as millennials have gotten into their late 30s, early 40s, and now the Gen Zs, where it's definitely shifted a little bit.
No, I do. First of all, it is alpha.
See?
First, it is alpha.
This is a whole entire night conversation because I'd like to know where that comes from.
Because there's no way that this generation is going to be called the alpha.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
so
but going back to back on track. I think that people are definitely, I think COVID in a lot of ways changed the mentality of this work to live to work mentality, because how many businesses started during COVID or after COVID?
Yeah.
When people started working from home, dude, I think people realized real quick that they didn't necessarily have to slave away for somebody else.
Well, and I agree with you. I think COVID and how going online to work shifted the complete mindset of how people perceive that stuff.
Exactly. And even myself, I started my business after COVID, right? And I think it's, you know, with that being said, though, I will say that I think those people that started businesses, I think a greater majority of them are realizing that starting a business was not. I think they started a business because they thought it was going to be easier or more passionate for them, and then they quickly realized that it's not that fucking easy, right?
Yeah.
They were like, "Shit, this is actually more work than it is to work for somebody else," right? And so I think they quickly realized that it was live to work once they started their business in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think for us as entrepreneurs, though, we can flip flop between the two. I think we can sit there and go, dude, at this phase of my business, I could work to live, right? And not not live to work, right? I mean, for me personally,
What are you right now at this point?
Dude, I'm definitely learning. I'm trying to transition away from live to work.
Okay.
And I think this is a great topic for us. This is why I wanted to talk about it. When you sent me the topics, I was like, these are the 3 things that you wanted to talk about. I think this needs to be one for 2 reasons. Why? Because I'm in a transitional period in my own personal life of how do I balance between my own personal life of self-care, health, just life, right?
Yeah.
My children, my grandchildren, all those things, right? And how do I balance that between this monster of a business that I've built, right? That demands a lot of my attention, right? All that to say is, I also think it's a great topic because you and I have talked about retirement.
Yep.
You know, you said 55, bro.
Yeah.
Right? That's like fucking less. That's less than 6 years away, bro.
Ago, yeah, 6 years. Yeah.
Right? That's less than 6 years away.
Yeah.
Right? And so here we are. We're having this conversation of retirement and transitioning for me and what that looks like for me to be able to kind of manage the two of managing my business and managing my own personal life and then separating the two.
Yeah.
Which is very, very, very difficult for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm into that stage of how do I do this? You know, one of the bullet points you printed out for us right now is work-life balance a myth? What do you think?
No. I think you can find it. I will definitely say I am now a work to live mentality. And that has changed I've learned to balance my life a little bit better with my work over the last 10 years. Mainly because I've realized exactly what my business is, the lane that it falls into, and not trying to outgrow the outside the boundaries, right? And understanding that this is what I'm good at. This is where we find success and everything else. Like when I first started the business, it was all over the place. You know, as it is for any business, trying to grasp at straws to try and figure out what's successful and what's not. So now, and this happened well before COVID, in my mindset of I'm now in that mindset of I'm doing this because Des and I are really good about planning big trips every other year. We do international trip every other year, and we've been consistent with that for the last 10 years. And then if we're not doing an international trip in those subsequent years, we're doing some other trip nationally here, you know, locally. And that's kind of what I look at now is like I look at where my race schedules are, and I'm like, okay, well, we can definitely travel between this and this time. this is what we look forward to. If I need to, I adjust some of my, I'm creating 2 new races next year. And just to be honest, those 2 race dates were scheduled because like, hey, we're planning on going overseas in June. Mm-hmm. I am definitely not setting up any new races right before I leave or right when I get back, because I don't want that, like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out about these events happening. But when I get back, right, I was like, so when I set those up, I was like, yeah, we definitely need to put those, in May versus June. And my race that's happened in July is an event that's been going on for years, so I don't have to worry about it. So my mindset has shifted. Now, when I first, like, I think also growing up in the Midwest and seeing, we talked to my father, weeks ago, and the whole entire work ethic behind that. And you, as somebody who grew up in that setting, like, it was definitely work, live to work in that scenario. And it was probably like that all the way through until I moved to San Diego back in 05. And then it was like, okay, I'm still in that process because I was just starting my business up. So I'm trying to figure everything out. And it was like, I think now, like I said, because I know what lane I'm in, my mindset has completely shifted. And I think that has helped my mental health as well. Right. And I kind of understand a little bit more now. Like there's a Des tells us, loves to tell a story. And I think it's because it shows the growth in relationship and everything else. But there was a point in time where I was so far gone down the wrong direction with my business that I was stressed out all the time. I wasn't fun to be around at all, period. And Des was finally like, it's a good thing you turned around, because I was gonna leave you. Yeah. Like, it was not fun for her. I was always stressed about money. I was like trying to figure out, like, where's my next paycheck coming from? What am I doing?
Was this around bankruptcy time?
This was after. This was when I was trying to be in the surf culture.
Oh yeah.
And me not being a surfer and trying to get into it, it's more like, hey, I'm in San Diego. I can be a part of this.
Right.
And it wasn't working out. So when I finally just came home one day and was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to do that anymore.
I'm not surfing anymore.
I'm not working in that category. I'm going to focus all on this. It like completely changed how I started to perceive the business, how I started to perceive my own mental health with it, and how I perceive, like, okay, this is what I need to make sure that I'm happy in life. Right. And so that's where my shift happened. So I've been able to find that work-life balance a little bit more over the last, 5 to 10 years. And I think I've told you this before. It's like I make sure at night now, like, yes, I do a little bit of work at night, but there's like 2 or 3 days in a row that I'll just completely shut down. And I won't be like, all right, I'm done. I'm out of the office. I don't have anything that's pressing to do for work. Completely shut off. I don't look at emails. I don't even open my computer up.
You look at my text, but that's besides the point.
I look at your text. I look at your text. So there's that. But I don't look at my emails. I don't answer emails after a certain point. Yeah. And so and I've kind of learned that through just what works from trying to relax at night, and the weekends and stuff, right? So there is to get back to answer your question. Yeah. Yes, I think there is that work-life balance, but I think it takes an understanding of where to figure it out.
Even what it is, right? I mean,
yes.
I think you and I have had this kind of discussion of defining what success is, right?
Exactly.
And so my ex-business partner, when I first opened up, right, we used to meet every year at the end of every year, which is coming to that point where we usually have this meeting. This is actually the first year that we won't have the meeting. And I started talking about Suzette and myself, really just thinking about, how do I want to be able to do this where I'm actually recreating what the good habits that I got from him and saying, how do I look at my year as a whole? And every year, the question was, uh, life business or big business?
Yes, we've had this conversation. Yeah.
Right? Every year, the meeting started off like that. And I think he asked that deep question was because if you were in the heart and in the mind of big business, it kind of directed the whole conversation for the year to those objectives. But if you were in the heart and the mindset of life business, it redirected the conversation into something entirely different, man. And I think we forget as entrepreneurs that so much of the direction of our businesses come from us, from where we're at emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, right? And it's just like if we're burnt the fuck out, our businesses reflect that.
But you can tell that. I will say I was burnt out in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I believe that the way some of those events were being marketed and like pushed and produced, I think you could see I could definitely look
at hindsight, right?
Looking at hindsight 2020, like I could definitely see that now. Like I could definitely see, because I was burnt out the last couple of years, I didn't put as much effort into those events as I probably should have.
Yeah.
And so to your point,
And then you think about just like if you're burnt out, like for me, I'm ADHD, so I have a deficiency in dopamine, right? That's always something that I'm always looking for. I constantly need a dopamine fix. And so I'm learning after several books of reading on ADHD and mindset and just nutrition and all these things that my weight will fluctuate based off of the amount of dopamine that I'm not getting. Right. And so I'm sharing that because I will start looking for things to give me a dopamine release because I don't get it enough like normal people do. Yeah. Right. And so food is one of those things for me. Working out is another thing, one of those things for me. Competition is another one of those things for me. Work is definitely one of those things for me. But sometimes work can also be a dopamine drainer as well. Like I won't get it because it's so overwhelming. At the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about my son wanting me to go down there, right? And doing all these things to help him out with his car and all this other things. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, I got so much shit to do. And in my business that I don't have time to go help my son, going back to life business or big business, right? And I'm like, fuck, I started this business to have a life business. I understand that I'm in this transition of, I just expanded. I just have this new community and I got to take care of it. I get it. There's so much shit that I got to get done. And that easily sucks me into going into all the things that I got to get done. It's so fucking asinine, the things that I got to get done. And just like anybody else, I'm not special. I'm not saying that I'm special. I'm saying that the act of all these things in my business that I got to get done, actually, when I get them done, makes me feel really good and I get that dopamine release. When I do not get them done, I look for other things.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy how much our businesses will reflect a mirror image of where we are.
Oh, yeah.
And so if I'm burnt out, my community feels that. If I'm tired, my community feels that. If I'm like on one, they walk into the gym and they're like, and I mean, like, I'm on a high, right? I've actually slept 8 hours for more than one day a week. Like, holy shit. He's energetic. And so going back to defining what success is from a work-life balance or defining success in what our businesses are, it really depends on you as a person, right? What are you okay with? And so when Josh and I used to talk about this, is like, are you okay with having a life business? Are you okay with having a big business? Because both of them come with their own set of fucking problems. Just because it's a life business Doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have problems, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be hard.
Yeah.
If you get a big business, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have no stresses in the world for money. You're gonna, right? It's just, you got to be okay with looking at yourself in the mirror and deciding, is this life business, or as we say, live to work to live?
Mm.
Is that okay? Are you okay with those set of problems?
Yeah.
Right? Or do you want a big business or live to work? Right? Or are you okay with not having access to family and like letting the business consume you all and you be everything? And some people, that identity is okay, man.
Well, I think it's interesting with the way Gen Z is brought up in today's society and the way some millennials look at it. Mm. It's like, I'd be quite interested to do a poll between like with Gen Zers and people who are in their 20s, if they're even interested in the live to work scenario, right? I think the adjustment of, and I think the last true employee I had was, not my contractor employees, but the last regular employee.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of when I started seeing it. He was mid-20s, and all he really cared about when his next
paycheck was.
No.
When
can I have off? When's my next day off?
When can I have my next day off?
When's my next day off?
No, man.
He didn't care about the money. He was like, I'm in it to make money so I can go out and travel. I want to go out to, I want to go out to Colorado. I want to go travel internationally. So he was always asking, not so much like, hey, when's the next paycheck? But when's my next day off? When are we not doing an event so I can take a time off? And I'm like, and that's kind of when my shifts in that started as a business owner to be like, not so much from my personal, but from employees or contracted workers or whatever. Like, that's kind of the shift of everything with that generation. And I'm kind of curious, as with the flexibility now that everybody has with so being an influencer, technology, everything. Is there now more people in the mindset of work to live, so they can just freely go out and do it, versus our grandparents, where it was, hey, grind, like we call it the hustle culture, grind culture, right? So that's what's interesting to me, is how you've seen this shift. And I reference it all the time, but social media changed the fucking game
changed the face of the world,
yeah,
bro.
And how that has materialized and grown and everything else, because now, and I'm actually interested from an influencer, like I'm talking full influencer, somebody who does not work, all they do is content create. Do they content create because they need the stability with it, or they content create because they're doing it because they can go off and travel and create content wherever they want and live a free life? Like, I think that's kind of an interesting look at it.
We know a couple influencers.
We do.
So I also follow some influencers that are as real as they possibly can be, right? And I say that with the utmost respect for the game. Okay.
Oh, I'm more jealous than anyone else.
I'm not.
There's parts of me that are
no.
I see the hard work that goes into that.
Yeah.
I'm also in that mindset of, oh, man, that would be really kind of nice. You can just get up, create a couple content, reels and videos.
It sounds easy.
It sounds easy.
It sounds easy.
But a lot of the bigger influencers also have people working for them and doing videos for them. Like it's I don't know.
Again, it sounds easy, right? And because I know these influencers and personally, it's not that fucking easy. It sounds easy. It looks easy, but it's not. And again, for respect for the game, and I get it. And what I'm about to say is not a disrespect or a diss on any of them. Please do not take it this way, right? But it is so fucking hard because they're always portrayed to be who they are in the public light. And when you know them personally, and it's not that they're fake, I don't want to say that, but they're accentuating aspects of their life for monetization.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so there's so many other aspects of these individuals that social media and the world will never know because it's not going to make them money. Right. And for me, that is extremely difficult for some of these influencers. I'm telling you right now, man, that they are okay with it, that their definition of success or work-life balance is okay with them turning off these parts of their body or their parts of their life that are like, no, I'm never going to share this again, right? And they can't share a lot of who they are as individuals because it doesn't help their story, right? It doesn't help their mission. It doesn't help their monetary value. And so and not to mention the workload that comes along with it. Oh my God. You're like, oh, pop a video on, put it in. And don't get me wrong. Some of these influencers are very, very creative. All of them are, especially the successful ones. They got some great fucking ideas, bro. And they could just, like, you and I are going to sit here for 5 fucking hours thinking about one post. And they would do that in 5 minutes.
So this is a completely different conversation.
Yes, but.
So I don't want to.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that a lot of these content creators also have video people that are doing
100.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's digress.
As we digress into life balance.
Let me just holster that conversation.
You started it.
I didn't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, but it's very hard.
That's a different conversation, and I'd be interested to have a more detailed conversation with that.
Yeah.
I think to go back and circle back around to us, I think the work to live mentality falls into the social media perspective.
100%.
And it's interesting to see how everything has changed since COVID and the way that the work dynamic overall, the umbrella of it, corporate, small entrepreneur business, social influencers, whatever it is. Like, it's definitely
hard.
COVID changed the world and the mentality of a lot of people because of the way it made us look at things, right?
Facts.
So we won't drone on more on this. And guys, I thought it was interesting that we bring this up in the balance of work life. And one of the things that I think and we can speak on as entrepreneurs only, is I think what I would suggest to people that are struggling with trying to find that balance, and what has worked for me, and again, this is only for me and only from my entrepreneur small business mindset, is to find that moment when you can. When's your shut off? What is your shut off point? Is it I'm shutting off everything on the weekends? I'm not worried about what work is doing on the weekends. Am I shutting it off? Am I turning the clock off or shutting off at a certain point in time during the night? But I think that there is a section in there where you need to like completely disconnect from the work aspect of it. That helps out the balance. The other thing is like just happiness in what you love to do outside of work? Is it travel? Is it going and playing pickleball?
Whoa. Whoa.
Is it going like there's and I don't play pickleball and
I would want to see you out on a pickleball court, bro.
I'm solid at pickleball, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Even though I don't play.
Your wingspan, bro, you'd probably be like from court to court.
I told you, I played in high school. I told you. Anyway, my point is trying to, again, work-life balance. What we're talking about is trying to find those things that make you happy in life outside of work, is making sure you have an opportunity to do some of those things still.
I will also add that when you talk about finding times to turn off, right? Finding the activities that recharge you is the biggest thing that I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, trying to find your hobbies. You need to get on the pickleball court.
No. It's not just that though, dude. It's like, fuck, bro.
I'm just kidding.
It's like,
I'm just messing with
it's like, maybe, I mean,
maybe
some of my other white friends have already got me on a pickleball court, right? It was not a pretty sight, bro. But I'll fucking do it anyways. Anyhow, like, if you're in a business and if you're barely starting your business, the biggest advice that I can give you guys is, Jeff, everything what Jeff said is absolutely right. But just taking the downtime or finding times to turn it off is great. But if you're turning it off and not doing the activity that's actually going to recharge you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like you could turn it off and just be on the couch and be like, what the fuck just happened over the last 6 months? Or we talk about, July for me, right? When we expanded. Like I just sat in Tulum, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck just happened in these last 30 months, right? Or 30 days. I don't know. And so like taking the time, and I felt tired after Tulum.
Yeah.
Because I was traveling. Yeah. So doing an activity of traveling, thinking I was going to go recover, and I was actually just felt like work.
Yeah.
Right? When I probably could have just sitting on my couch, saved me a couple grand and binged on some Netflix and ate and slept. Like that probably would have recharged me, right? And so finding the time to shut it off and do the things that are going to recharge you, aka sleep, aka workout, aka going for a walk, whatever those things are, right? Spending time with family, like all those things. I'm learning that as an entrepreneur, that the busier I get, the less activity that I actually want to go do. Like, I don't want to go spend time with my family. Not that I don't love my family, but I don't want to get up, get ready, get in my car, and go to another event. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Right? Versus if my family were to come over and just kind of hang out, maybe I would feel like I'm hosting. You and I have had this conversation too. You friends come over, family comes over, and you're like, okay, now I can just kind of, after they're gone, right? And so those are the things that if you get into understanding what work-life balance is, especially if you're a new entrepreneur like myself, that you learn real quick what it is that turning off looks like to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not that easy of just like, nope, I'm not opening up my laptop and I'm not looking at my phone. Right. I took my laptop to Tulum because it was habit, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's the thing. Like I've said that before. It's like you go on vacation and I take my computer just in case, something happens, with work, I need to, respond really quickly. Yeah. But I also make it a point not to open it up at certain points in time. Like if we're late at night and we're on a super big time change, I'll pop it open, just check email really quick and answer one or two and call it good. But I won't make it a point to be like, okay, we're done for the day. We're going to rest. I'm just going to open up my email and we're going to work for a couple hours while I'm on vacation. I have learned that I'm just like, okay, there's the cutoff point right there.
Yeah. Like nothingness. When I say nothingness, doing nothing is very fucking hard for me. Would you agree to that?
Yeah. I mean, doing nothing for me too is, it's really hard.
It's really freaking hard, right? Especially if you're a go-getter.
I have FOMO with everything that I do. And everything that's around me. I have FOMO like crazy. So if somebody's if I need to just sit around and not do anything and take that day for a couple hours and be like, okay, let's just relax.
Yeah.
But I hear if somebody in our friend circle is doing, hey, we're out doing this, we're out doing that. Like, ooh, maybe I should be doing that too. Like, oh, so doing nothing is hard.
It's very hard. And for me, I don't have FOMO, but I feel bad.
You should have FOMO.
I don't have FOMO, but I genuinely feel bad. Genuinely feel bad. Like if somebody in our community or somebody in our friend circle is doing something, right? And for whatever reason, I committed to being off or being with family or I had another event, I feel bad that I wasn't there. I just feel like the obligation of supporting them is so loud in my head and my heart that I'm like, I'll use the H2O games when Grace and Cece and Jenny and Carmen were all competing there and I couldn't make it. And they were sending me updates. I'm like, dude, I really should be there. But I had a prior obligation, right? And I'm just like, this fucking sucks. I got to be there. I should be there.
Did you really want to be there?
I did want to be there. Okay. I did want to be there. I absolutely do want to be there. And so like, those are the things that's like, I couldn't be there. And so I feel bad. But going back to the initial conversation of just shutting down and making time that you're doing things to recharge, you really got to set intention just like you would at work of what that looks like and the parameters for that. One of my coaches in my coaches meeting this last weekend when we had a staff meeting said, what happens if I can't make it to work at 4:30 in the morning? Who do I call? And they were like, call Omar. And I'm like, no, his shit's on airplane mode from when he goes to bed until when he's scheduled to wake up. So you're not going to be able to reach him because he's on airplane mode. Well, then what the hell are we going to do? And then they said, well, you got to set a different parameter, which was put my phone on do not disturb and allow the coach that is scheduled to be there to call me. And then there was another backup. And I'm bringing this up because it's easy to set the intention of setting your time to recharge and take care of yourself, because without you as an entrepreneur, the business will fail. And it'll go in a direction that you don't want it to be. And before you look up, your fucking business is down a path that you really don't like it to be. You, AKA, I'm in the surfing environment. Like, Jeff as a surfer is not it. Country Bumpkin does not belong in the ocean. He belongs in the hills and the mountains, right? Yeah. And so setting those parameters is so very important, and getting as detailed as setting the parameters of backup to backup to backup so that your business can still succeed and you feel at ease about it. Because after that was discussed, man, I went back and I started doing that shit. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. And actually, I feel a little bit less stressed because I know if one of my coaches can't make it, that it's going to be covered. And that's what I mean by that. So just taking the time to do those things and making sure that you're very, very intentional with your time so that you can recharge. And not to say that it's going to be all perfect, because it's not going to be perfect.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys got a little bit of insight on our mentality with it, and I hope you can find a little work-life balance if you haven't yet. But as always, we'd love to hear from you guys. Drop a note in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on work to live or live to work, and your thoughts. How do you guys work-life balance? So
and nothing against you guys that are working for somebody. You guys have tips and tricks, and you're an hourly or a salary employee. I'm sure you guys have things like that too.
It's the same, man.
Same. But it's, if you have a business, those are the people that really have the flexibility to kind of really fuck shit up or not.
Yeah.